Now, I don't want to film a subpar video for all of you lovely people watching at home, so I want to give this a little extra spice. Shall we say, a little extra spice in the literal bedroom that I'm standing in? So, as I have 37 spices, it made me think of this article that went viral 5 years ago called The 36 Questions That Lead to Love. In it, you're supposed to ask a date 36 questions, and by the end, it can prove if you should fall in love or not. So for this video, for the very first time, you and I are gonna figure out if we're destined to f or not. In the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? Well, since I am thinking about the Caribbean, I would say Rihanna's parents, just to thank them for creating excellence. I really wish Rihanna would just drop an album. If she dropped it right now, she would basically save me from myself. Here's a ranking fact. I think Rihanna's the most gorgeous human alive right now. Would you like to be famous, and in what way? I would admit that, yeah, as a child, I did dream of being famous, but because of very artistic, serious, creative endeavors, ones that would make a greater cultural impact for similarly marginalized people. But I'm here making a video of me eating my spice cabinet in a sailor costume. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say and why? You know, I do admit that I actually rehearse my phone calls before I make them. Not because I'm scared of calling people, I just really f***ing hate when I make grammatical errors. Thought of a typo makes me my butthole clench, not a good way. Here, I'll show you, I'll demonstrate. I'm gonna have to take this phone, I'm gonna rehearse. I will rehearse saying, Ned, you are an incredible father and your baby is growing up to be such a beautiful young boy. That's what I'll say. You're an incredible father and your baby is growing up to become an incredible young boy.
Hello?
I have Wes and he's in my basement.
What?
See, I messed up. What would constitute a perfect day for you? I'd say a perfect day are 4 things. Eating, sleeping, f***ing, succeeding. That's it. Wait, maybe pet a dog at some point. 5 things. When did you last sing to yourself? I literally just sang to myself. Literally just did when I was talking about the Spice Girls. Rewind the tape.
Generation Next.
If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? Of course, the mind of a 30-year-old. Like, why would I want to be a hot person not remembering anything and just unable to control my body? I already have done that enough in my life, and it's called my 20s. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? It's a weird question. I actually like this question. Yes, I do, but I'm not gonna say it out loud because I am what you would call a superstitious realist, meaning I only believe something might come to fruition through destiny if I put that idea out in the world myself. So, like, you design your own fate. If I was to say right now that a horse would f me to death, then probably I just literally curse myself to getting f***ed to death by a horse. Like, I should not have said that, and it's gonna happen. Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. I think by partner, they mean you watching at home. I can't see you, but I'm gonna assume hair, body, face. Cause you know, if we're like on a first date, I'm sure you like look like a f***ing snack. I see you out there. Looking like a whole ass buffet. Katie. I don't know, I just said Katie because I assume there's lots of girls named Katie. Hi, Katie. For what in your life do you feel most grateful? You know, honestly, the ability to consume dairy. Like, I feel so sorry for people who are lactose intolerant because you can't eat cheese. Like, that's the fucking saddest thing I've ever heard, is not being able to eat cheese. I mean, you could take a bus full of orphans and a bus full of nuns and have them careen off a cliff together, and that'd be less sad than not being able to eat cheese. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? I need a drink for this question. You know, when I was a little scared kid and depressed, I would pray to God at night that I would wake up straight. Don't feel sorry for me. It's difficult. You know, now I wish I would change that everyone else was just gay. I could then hate myself for way more valid reasons, like how shitty a person I am. Take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. F that, we don't have 4 minutes. I was just gonna summarize mine. Okay. Texan, Asian, chaos, gay, artist, drunk, existential dread. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? The power to fly. F***ing duh. That's the only valid answer to that question. We'd be birds, and birds are dope. I can talk to birds, by the way, so. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I've been joking a lot, so I'll say this one with all seriousness. I'd want to know if I actually helped shift the ever-changing, delicate spectrum of humanity's impact on this planet more towards the positive side, even if by the tiniest iota. I should probably also ask if I'm going to die by getting by a horse. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? All right, I immediately know the answer. I desperately want tattoos. Like, I love tattoos, and I don't have any. I think they're gorgeous expressions of identity, and I don't have them because my parents will kill me. They literally said, the gay thing is weird, but we're gonna learn how to get used to it. But if you get a tattoo, we're gonna f***ing murder you.
I'm right, you're wrong.
No. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life? Did people actually do this on f***ing dates? These are like really invasive questions. Of course you're gonna fall in love. You're basically like condensing 10 years of knowing someone into one f***ing interview. Jesus f***ing tap dancing Christ. Okay, so I hate this question because I feel like I actually have so much more that I need to accomplish. Cheers. Funny, humor, comedy. What do you value most in a friendship? In friendship, I value someone who deep down appreciates my dry sarcasm, dark humor, and the occasional threat to murder them in their sleep. And another question. What is your most treasured memory? I don't know, because I feel like the most amazing memories I've ever made were when I wasn't sober enough to remember them. What is your most terrible memory? Oh, so it's a follow-up from the last one. Okay, I guess the most terrible memories I've made were also when I wasn't sober enough to remember them. Like this video shoot. If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living? Yeah, the thing I would change is I'd want everyone to work together to flatten the f***ing curve so we can all get the f*** out of quarantine. What does friendship mean to you? I don't know, I'm not in kindergarten, so this question's dumb. It makes my butthole clench, which is my body's way of saying that I shouldn't dignify this with a response, or like I'm just holding a fart. Okay, I guess friendship is if someone found everything I just said endearing and funny and not totally grossed out by it. That's friendship. Here's the next question. What roles do love and affection play in your life? Love, affection... I don't really have an answer for that one. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Share a total of 5 items. So I'll just name things I would look for in a partner. 1, an inquisitive mind. 2, a selfless heart. And then hair, body, and face. How close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most other people's? Some families are warm, some families are cool. Mine tends to be either fiery hot or ice cold. I might not want to hug my family, but I will destroy the lives of anyone who will do that harm with my bare hands. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother? I mean, of course, I love my mom so much. You've seen in videos, it's very clear.
He's very creative and he's smart too.
Wow.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I think a more practical question actually is how I feel about your mother. Because if I already have to deal with my mom, why would I want to deal with yours? Make 3 true we statements each. For instance, we are both in this room feeling ... We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. I don't know, I hate that question. Complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share... I wish I had someone with whom I could share a sandwich that's too big for me to eat in a single sitting. I hate when that happens, but it's the type of sandwich that doesn't hold up well in the fridge, so you gotta finish it, like a meatball sub. So I want you to share a huge meatball sub with me. If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. Well, I am a Capricorn, and I am a Slytherin. I believe that pursuing actionable solutions to extreme wealth inequality is imperative to mending our broken socioeconomic system. But we keep electing rich, self-preserving assholes who can't see past their own fucking wallets. So that's what I would want you to know about me. Tell your partner, you watching at home, what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things you might not say to someone you've just met. I can't see all of y'all through the screen, but I am 99% sure that all of you need to fix your posture right the now. Seriously, like sit up straight, roll your shoulders back, maintain that through the rest of the video, and I guarantee that I will find you very attractive. Isn't it weird when you hear the word posture, you automatically adjust your posture? I love good posture. I think good posture is so sexy. When I see an erect neck, it makes me erect. Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. Which one? I have so many embarrassing moments. It's hard for me to even. One time in high school, I chafed the head of my penis at the lake. You know when you wear those swimsuits for guys they know like that don't have netting? It was just like the head of my penis against the fabric. So it got chafed, and so I made a makeshift cast out of like napkins and tape, just like scotch tape. And then it made the shape of my dick, and then it fell out of my shorts in front of the whole class on the ground. It was this penis-shaped cast of my dick just sitting there in front of all the class, and everyone saw it. That is an embarrassing story. When did you last cry in front of another person? When did you last cry by yourself? In front of another person? Never! By myself? All the goddamn time. Tell your partner something that you like about them already. I can't see you, but I like that you are watching this video. So that shows that you are committed to watching terrible things like Tiger King or the movie Cats or How to F with Cats. Wait, holy shit. Am I basically a cat? Do y'all like watching me because it's like watching a cat? Am I entertaining on the internet because I have cat-like qualities? I have 3 dogs, but maybe I'm actually just a cat who wants to dominate over dogs. Is that pretty good? Maybe I am a cat. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? I particularly don't like it when people joke about Asians like we're still in the 1950s. I'm more offended by people who make lazy jokes. I don't want you to be racist towards me because of my eyes or my food smelling. I want you to be racist to be like, wow, your Korean toes, ugh. You read about the one about the toes on Koreans? Ugh. See, I would love that. I'd love that, but I really hate unoriginality. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone? Why haven't you told them yet? Oh! I would regret not having had the external emotional capabilities of expressing my deep love and appreciation for those who I truly value in life. And I haven't told them because I'd rather die before they hear that. Which seems like I have appeared to create a paradox. Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be and why? I mean, I'd probably just grab a bucket so I could fill it with water so I could try to put out the fire. And let's go to another question. I'm too drunk for this. All the people in your family, whose death would you find the most disturbing and why? Okay, that's fucking heavy, but be most disturbed by anyone younger than me. Like if I got to death by a horse tomorrow. That'd be way sadder than if I got to death by a horse when I'm 80. This is the last question on the test to find out if you are my soulmate. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. My problem is that I've been wondering this entire time while I've been filming, if this is a fun piece of digital content, is it meant to momentarily divert the public's preoccupation with how terrible the world is? Or is this just like a long, hard stare into the dark recesses of my id? Like, which is an equally complicated, even more distorted reflection of the macabre, destructive, ultimately pointless nature of man. And how might you handle that? How do you feel about the problem that I've chosen? I'm going to have to ask one additional question that I made up on our date to close it out. Bonus question. Are we in love now? Yes, I can feel it through the screen. Katie. Katie. We are soulmates. You and I. And for sticking through this and agreeing with everything I said, all I have to say is, I love you. I love you. I can't even say that to my parents half the time, so congratulations. I still think there's tons of Katies out there. It would suck to get to death by a horse, let alone f***ed by a horse. Like, I feel sorry for lady horses. That's too much. Ain't nobody want that much of that.